Yes, and now we're recording. Hello, everyone. I'm Tanika of Real 365, sitting down for the second time with a new filmmaker, an independent filmmaker, Maurice Dortch of Chicago. I'm trying to do these chats once a week with a different filmmaker. To talk about their backgrounds, what they're working on, hopes and dreams for the present and the future, and any other topics that they would like to discuss. So Maurice and I met, how many years ago is it?
6 years. Yeah, 6
years ago. We met 6 years ago at the American Black Film Festival. Yeah. Was that your first year there?
That was my first year.
First year there. I think that was, that was probably my second. Year there, I think. Did you go this past year?
I did not. I plan on maybe attending next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been busy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. And those trips to Miami are not cheap. So.
No, they are not.
I would have liked to go. It was their 20th anniversary. Right. And, I was a definite no up until like a month and a half before it was supposed to happen. And then I was like, I should have gone.
Always happen like that.
Yeah, it does. So let's backtrack a bit. Tell everyone about you.
Well, my name is Maurice Dortch. I reside in Chicago, South Side. I don't need a bulletproof jacket to live in Chicago, despite the media. I've been a professional writer since 2001. I've been a filmmaker since 2009. My company, we've done over... Wow. Well, technically, I produced over 35 short films.
Wow.
And we've done one feature film, a sketch comedy web series, and right now I'm working on a new web series. So that's pretty much in a nutshell.
Over 30, so you're staying busy.
Yeah. Have to, Just really trying to build our brand and hopefully make some noise out here and see what happens.
So what made you start writing as opposed to anything?
Actually, it was a hobby since I was a kid. I never took it serious. And I went to school for pre-med, and one of my mentors, at the time she wasn't a mentor. At the time she was just a family friend. She was the executive producer of the Essence Awards show. And I used to write little comic strip newsletter. Like I said, I never took it serious. And so I would come home on break and she'd be like, "You wasting your talents." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" So I've been honest math, honest science. I got to be a doctor, right? She's like, "No." She's like, "People would kill to have your talent as a writer." And oftentimes when something comes natural, you feel like everybody else can do it. So that's how I took it. Like, oh, everybody can write. You know how to write your name, you know how to write. And so she said, "I tell you what, I fly you out to New York for the Essence Awards show. For a whole week, I pay for your hotel, your airfare, you'll give you a stipend and pay for all your food for a week. And I want you to come and be a production assistant, but you'll be a writer's production assistant."
Oh my goodness.
And she was like, "That's how much I believe in you." And I was like, "Oh, wow." So I said, "Okay, well, at the very least, I have a free trip to New York."
Exactly.
So I was like, "What the heck? Let's do it." So I went out there and I fell in love, and the rest is history.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So yeah, she really had a lot of faith in you. Just like cut some checks.
Yes. Yes. And that's the true form of having faith in someone, putting that action into play.
That's the truth. That's the truth. And helping them along and pulling them along and building them up, not all that good stuff. That's true.
Yeah.
So once you got back, you started on your first short, or
no. Once I got back, I had that hard sell pitch to my parents to tell them that I'm no longer going to school for pre-med. And, yeah, that was not an easy conversation.
I know it wasn't.
Yeah, and so what happened after? Oh, so they at first was like, man, you live in a pipe dream, and so I transferred from Northern Illinois to Columbia College in Chicago. I did that for 2 years. I went out, just went and visited LA for a little bit, see what that was about. I didn't like it. And then that's around that time the writer's strike hit. And that's when they weren't because I had an opportunity for Warner Brother at the time to join their writing program. That was when they had the WB network. So when the writer's strike hit, that kind of canceled out everything.
Right.
And, I took a couple of years off chasing the 9 to 5, got married, had kids, got a divorce, and then I after the divorce, I kind of restructured my life and was like, man, I need to get back into it. And then I had wrote this sitcom that I was kind of shopping around before the writer's strike. And then my mentor, she was like, well, since they're not really buying original scripts, why don't you turn it into a short film, because that's what a lot of people seem to be doing. So I wrote I wrote the sitcom to a short film, and it didn't pan out too well. So I kind of threw that to the wayside, and then I started writing for Second City here in Chicago for stage. And I did that for a couple of years.
Now, Second City, is that a comedy club or?
Yeah, it's mostly comedy. That's where Jim Belushi, Tina Fey, all them people came from. And I thought that was going to be my in into the industry. But I realized in order to survive there, you have to be a writer/actor. So long story short, after my brief stint with Second City, I decided to write another short film called Don't Bite the Apple. And that was my first short. And I made it out there.
Which I have seen. It is hilarious.
Well, thank you.
And real, and people can definitely identify with it for sure.
Thank you.
So growing up, were you a jokester? One comedy as opposed to any other genre?
Oh yeah, comedy came natural for me. My brother was my first audience. I got a lot of slaps across the head, for a smart mouth, So yeah, comedy was always my thing, if you will.
Okay, so filmmaking. What are your thoughts on being an independent filmmaker or a Black independent filmmaker, and what's the vibe like in Chicago for independent filmmakers?
Well, being an independent filmmaker, of course, it has its pluses and minuses. As an independent, you get to kind of create your own niche, if you will. But of course, sometimes you can't create those checks.
Right. Definitely have to write to the budget.
Yeah. So it's been a very interesting journey that I've been enjoying. As far as Chicago, the landscape has definitely changed throughout the last couple of years, with Chicago now having 8 television shows being filmed here.
Oh, wow.
A lot of movies coming into Chicago to film here. We have, I believe, the 3rd largest television and film soundstage now
Oh
in
my.
Chicago. But unfortunately, a lot of the studios still hire out of LA. So it's really just trying to allow them to see that we do have talent in Chicago and to invest in the talent here. So that's been unique. And still dealing with Chicago is very segregated racially. So trying to bridge that gap between black and white filmmakers. So it's been a challenge, but we've been surviving it and making some inroads. So I'm happy about that.
Now, when you said that film producers, they hire more so out of LA. They hire in LA and then they would fly those people to
Yeah. Especially the writers, like Empire, their writers are all from LA. Chicago PD, all the Chicago franchise, PD, Fire, now Chicago Med and Chicago Justice, they hire all out from LA. I mean, they do hire crew, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
It's a lot of crew that they hire, but as far as creative, Empire has been embracing a lot of the Chicago talent lately as far as actors, but like behind the scene creatives, that's straight from LA.
Yeah, that always, I think a lot of people are surprised when they hear that a film is shot in a city, but they're just like hiring all those people in LA, putting them up someplace, paying for their hotel or wherever it is they're staying and their food the entire time that they're there.
Right.
And then paying to have them all go back to LA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's like you hear of like when I watch Chicago PD sometimes, and the dialogue that they have is like no one in Chicago sounds.
Now that's bad. Somebody is not doing their homework.
Exactly. They don't have to. I guess I don't know.
Right. Right. It's probably like who's going to care other than the people in Chicago?
Exactly.
That's terrible. That's terrible. Okay, so what are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm working developing a web series called The Way Love Goes, and I'm working with our mutual friend Lori. Hey Lori, I hope
you got to get her on here soon.
Yeah, we've been we took our little hiatus because it was a busy summer for the both of us. So hopefully going into the fall season, we can just continue to develop things and really get the ball moving on finishing it. Because the plan is it's a web series. We're only going to do a certain amount of seasons. So we want to kind of try to shoot majority of it all at once.
Yes.
So we're not really committing people like that, and try to see if we can get that done. And in doing that, we got to try to tell because we don't have a huge production and we can't make it snow. So
right.
External snow scenes starting in January, February here in Chicago, and then probably do majority of the principal photography inside. I mean, in the spring and summer months. Okay.
Yeah. And so I meant to ask you about this earlier. Who have you worked with that some people may have known?
On a major level, I guess, you know.
Or up and coming, doesn't have to be on a major level, because I like I said, I saw Don't Bite the Apple and you had some great talent in there.
Yeah.
You had such a huge volume of work, so whoever, you know.
Well, with Don't Bite the Apple, Corey Hendricks is very up and coming talent. He's been in Empire. He just booked on a new show coming on Fox called APB. He's been, I want to say, Sirens before it was off the network. So he's been very seasoned. I shot a short film called Our Vows last year with my man Cyril Smith. He's up and coming. He's been in Sirens, a lot of good. Shameless, Empire. He's done a lot of Chicago Fire. He's been in that. I've also Our Vows also features co-stars Tambla Perry, who has a series regular role on APB. She's also come from the stage with the Goodman Theater. She's done off-Broadway in New York. So, yeah, I mean, we definitely dealt with a lot of good talent. And even behind the scenes, I've worked with Pete Chapman from New York, who was a professor at NYU. And he right now is a part of the HBO Diversity Directors Program.
Nice.
So he's done features film with Hill Harper, Zoe Salanda, Dorian Missick. So yeah, you know, I've been fortunate to work. Oh, and I can't forget my man Chris Red, who just co-starred in Pop Star, Never Stop Stopping with what's my man's name from Fox? Andy Samberg, I believe is his name. He was part of Saturday Night Live. He has a show now called Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, Chris co-starred in that. So if y'all haven't seen that, make sure you go and digitally download it off of Amazon and Popstar. My man Chris Red plays Hunter. Yeah, so yeah.
That's great. So you find it once you, well, I would have to say it goes back to the culture in Chicago, that when you do find people that you're going to work with, it becomes like a family circle.
For the most part, some people, you know, I mean, just like anything in life, some people are just there for a season, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You embrace that season and keep it moving. Yeah, and then some people you garner that relationship and that brotherhood. Like Chris, like I consider him my brother, you know. So when he's in Chicago, I make sure I go support him. And whenever I have something, he makes sure I support him. And so yeah, I mean definitely. And Cyril's now like my best friend. Tambla, we actually went to high school together, so we've always been close. Yeah, so it's been awesome.
Now, once you complete the web series you're working on, are you gonna shop it around to festivals, or are you just gonna kind of like distribute it yourself on YouTube? Like, what's the plan, or do you not have a plan?
No. I definitely believe in having a plan before you start production.
Yes.
I'm kind of like leaning against film festivals right now. So Lori and my business partners, we're definitely going to talk more in depth about that. And if we do the festivals, you know, we're going to be very selective of which festivals that we will submit to. But for the most part, I'm looking to self distribute and see how it goes.
Yeah. So your face on film festivals. What are your thoughts on film festivals? Do they serve a purpose?
I believe that film festivals, at this as a indie filmmaker who primarily do short films, short form content, I believe that it's not the most economically sound plan to embrace. Because, so I just had this conversation, and I guess I could break it down to you like this. So if you're a film festival, on average, to submit to a film festival, let's say an average is $40. $40 for you to tell me if my work is good enough for your standard. So even if I do get accepted and I become an official selection for that $40, what happens is now you have my $40. You send me your film festival L'Oreal, and then I start pushing your film festival
Yes.
for you to come see my film in your film festival. So not only do you have the $40, but you got free promotion. And now when they come see my film, they're on average paying $10 to see my film.
Yeah.
I don't see a
and most people don't, most people probably are not paying for just one film when they go to a film festival as well. So yeah, they're probably getting more than $10 out of it.
Right. Exactly. So now you're making money off of my film that I'm not seeing a penny from. And on average, especially with short films, the theater, it's a 200-seater. Mm-hmm. And if you and you do good if you fill it up. Mm-hmm. So now we talking about that's a local film festival. We're not even talking about the ones that's out of the city, out of the state. So now I'm paying for promotional materials, airfare, hotel, things of that nature.
Right.
Because most of the times, a lot of these film festivals don't cover that. And if they do, they only cover it for one person. And
right.
Of course, you don't want to go by yourself. You want to take, either a loved one, somebody to help you push the material. So now, at a low scale, I'll spend anywhere between $500 to $750 just for one film festival.
Yeah.
Now, if you take that same $500 to $750, you could get a good PR person for your area and really push your film online where you're getting your own, your own clicks, your own likes, and
mm-hmm.
you're able to monetize your product.
Yeah.
So my thing is I come from a business background, so I try to look at the business of it all,
Which more filmmakers need to do.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we need to be more cautious of where we're spending our money,
Yeah.
Especially as indie, I haven't spent more than, I try not to spend $5,000-$10,000 for a short film. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
So I try to use my money wisely, try to figure out what's the best way to go about it. Nowadays with Vimeo and YouTube and Facebook, like you can honestly go on Facebook and spend $100 and reach an entire national platform.
Right.
They're going to push your work into people's timelines so that people can see your work. I mean, that's a win for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think for filmmakers, see, I'm kind of on the fence because I see the good and the bad. Because had we not gone to a film festival, we wouldn't have met, wouldn't have been able to probably work together. So that whole networking piece is definitely very valuable.
Right.
And then you do get to see some good movies and meet some other, filmmakers who do show. But yeah, when you're weighing how much it's costing you to make a film and how you want to recoup the money and be able to make money to make another film, like there are people that just are just going to festivals, just like you said, you all would, if that's what you chose to do, you definitely be selective. And I guess what I'm saying is that a lot of filmmakers are not selective. They're just throwing out lines and seeing who catches, and then they're there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But don't get me wrong. I'm not anti-film festivals. I think they're good for feature filmmakers. Once again, you have to be selective. You have to be realistic about what your purpose is.
Exactly.
Most of these film festivals, you're not going to sell your movie because distribution companies, they're not going to
festivals for the most part. They're not going to festivals.
Exactly. So,
I mean, they're going to enjoy it, but they're definitely not going to buy.
Exactly.
Like Sundance, Tribeca type of. Probably you could count on one hand how many festivals they're going to actually.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is really just I mean, if you're gonna go to a film festival, use it wisely. Even if you don't submit, like you said, the networking aspect is awesome. Like I met you, I met Lori, we met Omar, met so many good people in that journey to ABFF. So I definitely can't knock it.
Yeah.
I just tell people, just be wise and be smart about how you do it.
Exactly. What are your thoughts on crowdfunding, like Indiegogo and sites to raise money for films? Do you think it works well for filmmakers? Does it not work, you think? Is it oversaturated?
It's definitely oversaturated. Once again, I think it's just do your research. One of the ones that I tend to like now is Seed and Spark. It's a new crowd raising, but it's also a distribution platform. After you raise a certain amount of money, they guarantee to give your project distribution. So just continue to learn. I'm learning about all of that, because it's not just about the money. It's really about how do you, like we talked about earlier, do you have a plan with that money? There are a lot of good films sitting on people's hard drives right now that are not through the light of day.
Sitting. That's right.
And so you got to have a plan. You got to understand that this is a business at the end of the day. So with that being said, I don't knock crowd fundraising. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it is saturated, and it's saturated with a bunch of not so good stuff. Yeah, it's like
everything and nothing at the same time.
Exactly. I want to take a trip downtown. Let me go fund me. Give me $100. Like, come on, man. Like you messing up for the people that really need this money.
Right. Exactly. You mess it up for the people that really need the funds. That is so true.
And I'm not knocking anybody's hustle. I know it get hard out here, and but dang, it's like, are you really online asking me to donate $20 to help pay your rent? Like,
right.
I'm not judging. I'm not judging. It's just, man, really just do the research. Do the research and be realistic. I think a lot of times as filmmakers, we have these grandiose ideas. We haven't built our brand. We haven't built our fan base.
Yeah.
And we come out saying, man, we want $100 grand to shoot this film. Like, who knows you? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, honestly, who knows you?
Right.
So, I try to be, that's something that I'm right now. Once again, we're still in the pre-planning stage with the web series. So that's something that, I'm like battling. Do we want to do the fundraiser thing, or do we want to just go ahead and move forward? We're doing it ourselves because we have the resources. But of course, money definitely helps things go smooth.
Exactly. It changes things on set. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
That's for sure. So you write comedy. Would you like to break out and try any other genres, or have you?
Well, actually, yeah,
That's it.
No. I mean, Our Vows, which I actually co-wrote with Lori. Hey, Lori again. Was a dramatic piece. For the record, was we shot it in 2014. That was a romance. It was an experimental piece that we've been getting a lot of positive response from that. We just threw it on Facebook and let it run. Right now, between Facebook and Vimeo, we have over 5,000 views.
That's awesome.
With no promo, just word of mouth and people sharing it. So we're definitely excited about that. The Way Love Goes is I guess I would consider a dramedy, with light humor in the mix of romance, dramedy. So yeah, I definitely don't want. Comedy I feel works through all genres, whether
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
horror, drama, or whatever. You know, even your most, you know, action laced film. You know, just having that a little comedy here and there sprinkled in,
Yeah,
it
breaks.
helps flow. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, what if you had a choice of any movie set to be on, movie type or movie that you've seen or about to see, which set would you work on for free?
Any set that involves probably Will Smith.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, why Will Smith? Other
Um,
than, he is funny.
just, he seems to be, well, not even. I mean, his passion speaks for itself. His love for the industry and what he does is, man, it's amazing. Like if you look at what he's done in his body of work,
Mhm.
it's been amazing.
Oh,
Nothing short
yeah.
of amazing. Diverse. Even though I wouldn't mind seeing Will in an all black film. You know, just
Just
it's
to
one
see how
time.
you go.
Will, just give it to me one time, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like a majority black film, bro. Just one time. Or Denzel. Denzel. I mean, he seems to be very uh, opening and welcoming to new talent. Either Denzel or Will, I'll be open. I'll be like, yeah, let's do this.
Sign me up. I'm there.
Exactly.
It,
The experience itself is payment enough.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Any pet peeves about filmmaking? Being on set or writing, the process, post
Wow.
production, pet peeves?
Oh man, there are a lot. I guess the main thing is not communicating. Uh,
Mm.
if that kills everything. That kills everything. Not knowing how to communicate and not being able to communicate because it just makes everything uncomfortable. You know, and even when it's not uncomfortable, you think everything is working good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's like, man, you know, if the set is over, like for example, I had a makeup artist who felt uncomfortable on set, but she didn't say anything until the first AD who hired her
Mm-hmm.
came to me and was just like, man, you know, the guy who referred her to me, like word of mouth, word of mouth, word of mouth, said, man, she felt uncomfortable. And I was like, well, why she didn't say anything, you know?
Right.
You know, so it's just like it just messes up the flow of things. So being able to communicate, that's my main pet peeve.
Yeah. Because you figure if someone is on set with a bad attitude, it starts spreading to kind of, creates a domino effect. So, yeah, definitely. I agree with you on that one. So there's another project you're working on or a group collaboration, Do It for the Gram.
Do It for the Gram, yeah. So Do It for the Gram was a brainchild of mine early this year that pretty much came out of a debate, if you will, from other creators in the industry. It's like people tend to network just for the sake of networking.
Mm.
It's nothing that really comes out of that. So you go to a networking event, then the next month or the next quarter or the next year, you see the same people and you hear this same line, hey man, we gotta work. Every event. So it's just like, well, when do we actually put the work into networking?
Right.
And so I created Do It for the Gram to do exactly that. It was a 3-month process. We asked for submissions, script submissions nationally from different writers, screenwriters, poets, sketches, things of that nature. And we took our top 25 scripts. I had a script coverage team that went through all the scripts to the top 25. We got 10 filmmakers, experienced filmmakers, and each filmmaker produced 2 1-minute short films all in one weekend. So we got the scripts, we got the directors, we teamed them all with their producers and their DPs. The producers were very instrumental in finding locations, things of that nature. And then to add to the networking component, we had a speed casting event where we had we started off. It was done in 2. One in the morning. It was a morning session and afternoon session. In each session, the first hour was a speed networking round. Because one of the things that we're working with actors, they always mention that they never get a chance to talk to the directors. So they had a 1-minute speed dating session with the directors. They ran through all the directors. Directors got to ask them questions. They got to ask the directors question. And then after that, they selected the top 3 directors that they would like to audition for their projects. And then one by one, they came in and auditioned in front of all 10 directors. And then after that, the directors submitted their top 3 actors for each role that they were looking for. And our casting team connected the directors and the actors together within 24-hour span of time. And then they had a week to do any rehearsals or preps or final things. And that following weekend, 5 directors shot their 2 short films on Saturday, and the other 5 shot their 2 short films. And so right now we're in post-production, and we got a screening of all 20 short films October, and then after the screening, they all go live on Instagram.
Oh my goodness. That sounds crazy, but so amazing at the same time.
Yeah, it was definitely
really cool.
Thank you.
Because that is really forcing you to network, meet new people.
Exactly. And putting in that work.
Yes. So where's the name come from? Do it for the gram.
Because it's gonna live on it's gonna live on Instagram. So we
am I showing my age now that I didn't know that's that I didn't know?
Yeah, you fine. That was good. It was good. Yeah, no, I mean it's and it's really a lot of the films are over a minute, so we're gonna condense have them try to make a 1-minute version, but we don't want them to sacrifice their vision.
Right.
So it's nothing over 2 minutes. So if they don't live on Instagram, they'll live on Facebook. And then next year we're gonna create our own website. So that's where they're living at. And then the next year we're also going to different cities. So right now we're in conversation with Austin, Texas, Atlanta, and Miami.
Well, you need to be in talks with DC. You know, me and Lori are here.
Hey, I would love to. Yeah, let's talk about it. I would love to come out there and make it happen, you know.
That sounds really, really cool.
Yeah, so y'all, any sponsors out there, let me know.
That's right.
Yeah, so it was definitely for a pilot program. We had our bumps, but I'm definitely proud of every actor, every filmmaker, every producer like that came out and really blessed us. Lyft was one of our sponsors, so shout out to Lyft.
Nice.
Woodlawn Dental Gallery was another sponsor, and then we had a couple of other, in-kind sponsorships. So we was definitely happy about that.
So that's what's going on in your near future. What do you have going on beyond that?
Beyond that, next year is a year of writing, which, of course, we'll do it for the ground. If we definitely do those 4 4 cities. It's going to keep me busy. And outside of that, I'm not gonna do any the actual the writing and the directing like I did with this go around. So I'll be more just the overseeing and organizer of things. But outside of the web series, my goal is to write a couple of spec scripts for some sitcoms, and start working on putting together a script for our feature film. So that's the plan.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. To be done, you know. Gotta put that work in. That's what you tell people, you know. It's all about
moving.
Yep, putting that work in.
Oh yeah. So anything else that you wanted to add? Any other thoughts before we?
No, I think this platform is dope. I think it's needed. I thank you for having me on here.
I thank you for agreeing to, because if I didn't get a response from you, I would have stalked you. Like,
call me anytime, and I definitely put you in tune with some other filmmakers. And
great,
this is a platform that's needed. We need to have our voice out here and let people know that we're here. Definitely, if you haven't seen For the Record, go on. You could Google For the Record. It's short film. It should pop up. You'll see a couple, a black guy and she's not. Shoot. It's a cartoon. It looks like a record album.
For the record, okay.
Yeah, For the Record. And you can also Google My Toys, a short film. If you don't want to Google it, you can go on Facebook and just put it in the search engine. You should be able to find them. Or you can just look for me, Maurice, Maurice Dortch, Dortch. Inbox me, friend request me, and I'll personally send you the links. And yeah, any I'm a giver, you know. I love to give. It's not about the money for me. Do it for the ground. We didn't charge anybody. No one had to pay a submission fee or pay to come to the networking event or anything like that. And that comes from my mentor, Valerie Norman, who is the executive producer of the Innocence Awards show from New York. You know what I'm saying? How dare I try to make money off the back of my fellow creators?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm here. You know, if anybody have any questions, I'm here.
That's awesome. And the money will come.
Oh yeah.
Because you're already giving back.
Yeah.
You're already paying it forward. So that'll definitely come.
And I'm definitely looking forward to come hanging out in DC with y'all. You know.
I know.
Well, I've never been, so I gotta come.
You got to. You got to. Well, thank you again for hanging out with me tonight.
No doubt.
And we'll definitely be following up with you to find out, you know, what's going on with the web series and do it for the gram. And I thank everyone else for tuning in tonight, and everyone else that can follow me on Facebook at Real365. I will be posting this video and all the other videos to YouTube. So like me on Facebook so that you can get the YouTube page once all of that is set up. And thank you again, Maurice.
No doubt. Hey, and look, y'all can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at MLD Filmmaker.
At MLD Filmmaker. We got you.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks again. All right. Bye.